While Americans are still debating whether their washing machines should be front or top-loading, New Zealanders have moved on to appliances that sound like they're from another planet. I'm serious. There are 5 everyday home appliances sitting in Kiwi homes right now that 99% of Americans have never heard of. And here's the kicker. Some of these solve problems you didn't even know you had. We're counting down from number 5 to number 1. But hey, wait. Before we start talking about them, I want you to hit the subscribe button, like, share, and also comment your thoughts at the end of this video. And trust me, the last one is so controversial that New Zealanders themselves can't agree on whether it's genius or gross. Let's dive in. Number 5, the heated towel rail. Imagine never touching a damp, musty towel again in your life. Americans hang towels on hooks. Maybe a bar if you're fancy. New Zealanders? They have heated bathroom furniture that looks like a minimalist radiator and feels like a warm hug every single time you grab your towel. Let me tell you about Ivy. She's 34, a mother of 3 living in Wellington. For years, she dealt with the same annoying problem. Her towels never fully dried. The bathroom always had that smell. You know the one. That damp, slightly moldy scent that just lives there. She tried everything. Better ventilation. Opening windows even in winter. Nothing worked. Then in 2019, she installed a heated towel rail. 5 years later, she hasn't dealt with a single moldy towel. Not one. And here's why this matters. A 2021 study from the University of Otago found that New Zealand homes have 30% higher humidity than the US average. That's because NZ is literally an island nation surrounded by ocean. Moisture is everywhere. Damp towels aren't just gross, they're dangerous. After just 3 days, a damp towel can harbor up to 17 million bacteria colonies. That's more bacteria than your toilet seat. So New Zealanders solved this with a simple, elegant device. It's basically a heated rail. Looks like a ladder mounted on your bathroom wall that stays warm all day. You hang your towel on it after your shower, and by the time you need it again, bone dry, warm, fluffy. The cost? About 50 cents a day in electricity. That's it. And here's the bonus. It acts as supplementary heating for your bathroom in winter. No more freezing when you step out of the shower. Now, 78% of New Zealand homes have these. In America, less than 5%. Why? Because most American homes don't have the humidity problem. You've got central heating, better insulation, and a drier climate in most regions. But here's the thing, if you live in a humid area like Florida or the Pacific Northwest, this would be a game changer. You just don't know it exists. That brings us to number 4, and this one doesn't just solve a problem. It prevents a silent danger that hospitalizes thousands every year. Number 4, the heat pump. 72% of New Zealand homes have this device. In America, most people think it's just an air conditioner. It's not. And that misunderstanding costs Americans $800 or more every winter. Meet Scott. He's 58, lives in Auckland, and in the winter of 2020, his heating bill hit $450 for a single month. He was running electric space heaters in every room just to stay comfortable. His neighbor finally convinced him to install a heat pump. The result? His winter bills dropped to $180 a month. His home stayed warmer, and he stopped waking up with a sore throat from breathing dry, overheated air all night. Here's the science. A heat pump doesn't generate heat, it transfers it. It pulls warmth from outside air, yes, even cold air has heat energy, and moves it inside. This makes it 300% more efficient than traditional resistance heaters. Think about that. For every 1 unit of electricity you put in, you get 3 to 4 units of heat out. It's not magic. It's thermodynamics. A 2022 New Zealand government study found that heat pumps reduced residential carbon emissions by 23%. That's massive. Now imagine this. You walk into your home on a freezing winter night. Instead of waiting 30 minutes for the heater to warm up the room, it's already comfortable. Silent. No dry air burning your throat. No noise. Just consistent, efficient warmth. So why don't Americans use these? Cultural infrastructure. Most American homes were built with central heating systems after World War II. It became the standard. New Zealand homes? They were built without central heating. It was too expensive for such a small, spread-out population. So when heat pumps became affordable in the 1990s and 2000s, New Zealanders adopted them like wildfire. They filled a gap. For Americans, installing a heat pump means retrofitting a system that costs $3,000 to $5,000. But installing central heating from scratch? That's $15,000 or more. New Zealanders looked at that math and said, heat pump it is. Now here's what's wild. The next appliance is so specific to New Zealand geography, it sounds completely made up. Number 3. The electric jug, also known as a rapid boil kettle. Americans boil water in microwaves. New Zealanders looked at that sentence and felt physical pain. I'm not exaggerating. In New Zealand, the electric jug isn't just an appliance. It's a lifestyle. It's a cultural artifact. It's the most used device in the entire house. Let me tell you about Emma. She's 41, a school teacher from Auckland who moved to California in 2018 for work. First week in her new apartment, she wanted tea. She looked around for her electric jug. Gone. So she asked her American roommate, "Where's the kettle?" Her roommate pointed at the microwave. Emma told me later, "It felt like betraying my entire heritage." She ended up shipping an electric jug from New Zealand. Now her American friends think she's fancy. She's not. She's just Kiwi. Here's why this matters. An electric jug boils 1 liter of water in about 90 seconds. A stovetop kettle? 4 to 5 minutes. A microwave? Uneven heating and you have to babysit it. 95% of New Zealand households own electric jugs. It's more common than toasters. And they use 30% less energy than stovetop kettles because the heating element is in direct contact with the water. No heat loss to the air or the stove surface. But here's the real reason: tea culture. New Zealand is the second highest tea-consuming country per capita in the world, right after Ireland. The average Kiwi boils water 4 to 6 times a day. For tea. For coffee. For instant noodles. And there's a technical reason Americans don't have this: electricity. New Zealand runs on 230-volt power. The US runs on 120 volts. That means NZ electric jugs can pull way more power and boil water twice as fast. In America, an electric kettle takes just as long as a stovetop, so why bother? But for a New Zealander, that whistle click of the jug finishing, the steam curling up, the instant gratification of tea in under 2 minutes from start to finish, that's home. Now, the next one literally saves lives during New Zealand's most dangerous season. Number 2. The dehumidifier. There's a silent invader in New Zealand homes that sends 1,600 kids to the hospital every year. It's not a chemical, not a gas. It's moisture. Let me tell you about the Patel family in Christchurch, 2019. Their 7-year-old son started developing persistent asthma. He was missing school twice a week. Constant wheezing, trouble breathing at night. They took him to the doctor. Medication helped, but not much. Then the doctor asked a strange question. "Do your windows get condensation in the morning?" They did. Every single morning, the windows were covered in water droplets. The doctor said, "You have a mold problem." They didn't see any mold. But when they lifted the edge of the carpet near the exterior wall, black. The mold was growing inside the walls, invisible, pumping spores into the air their son was breathing every night. They installed an industrial dehumidifier. Within 6 months, their son's asthma attacks reduced by 80%. Here's the science. New Zealand homes average between 65% and 75% indoor humidity. The healthy range? 30% to 50%. A 2020 University of Auckland study found that 47% of New Zealand rental properties show visible mold growth. Not hidden mold. Visible. Children living in damp homes are 3 times more likely to develop respiratory issues. And treating damp-related illnesses costs the New Zealand health system $140 million every year. So why is New Zealand so humid? Geography. It's an island nation surrounded by ocean. Moisture is in the air constantly. But it's also construction. Older New Zealand homes were built without vapor barriers or proper insulation. Mild but wet winters create the perfect breeding ground for mold. Americans use dehumidifiers too, but mostly in basements or coastal regions. In New Zealand, people run them in living rooms, bedrooms, every room in the house sometimes. 62% of Kiwi homes have dehumidifiers compared to just 18% in the US. A quality dehumidifier costs between $200 and $600 NZ. It pulls 20 to 30 liters of water out of the air every single day. Think about that. 20 liters. That's more than 5 gallons of water that would otherwise be soaking into your walls, your furniture, your lungs. It's cheaper than medication. More effective than just opening windows in winter. For New Zealanders, a dehumidifier isn't optional. It's survival. But the number one appliance? It's so controversial. Even New Zealanders themselves are divided on whether it's genius or gross. Number 1, the washing machine with a built-in water heater. American washing machines are connected to hot water pipes. New Zealand washing machines? They heat their own water. And somehow, this backwards system is actually more advanced. Let me introduce you to James. He's 45, been a plumber in Wellington since 1998. He told me, "Every American who moves here calls me within the first week thinking their washing machine is broken. The pattern is always the same. They open the manual. They look at the back of the machine. They can't find where to connect the hot water hose. Because there isn't one." James has to explain, "Your machine heats its own water." Most of them don't believe him at first. Here's how it works. Inside the washing machine is a 2 to 3 kilowatt heating element, same as an electric kettle. When you start a wash cycle, the machine fills with cold water, then heats it to the exact temperature needed. 20 degrees Celsius for delicates, 40 degrees Celsius for colors, 60 degrees Celsius for sanitization. A 2019 Consumer New Zealand report found that built-in heaters use 15% less energy than preheated water systems. Why? Physics. In an American home, water is heated in a large tank, then travels 20 to 50 feet through pipes to reach the washing machine. During that journey, it loses 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. You're heating more water than you need, and you're losing heat the entire way. In a New Zealand system, the machine heats only the water it's actually using, exactly when it needs it. No standing heat loss. No wasted energy keeping a tank hot 24/7. This technology was developed during the 1970s energy crisis. New Zealand couldn't afford to waste power, so they innovated. But here's the controversy. It takes 10 to 15 minutes longer to complete a wash cycle because the machine has to heat the water during the wash. Older New Zealanders love it. They grew up with it. It's efficient. It makes sense. Younger Kiwis, especially those used to fast fashion and quick laundry turnover, find it slow. And Americans? They can't imagine waiting longer to wash clothes. But here's the Kiwi counter-argument. Why would I waste energy heating water that sits in a tank all day when I only do laundry twice a week? You can actually hear it when the machine is running. That subtle humming as the heating element kicks in. The slight pause in the cycle as the water reaches temperature. It's intentional, deliberate, very Kiwi. This system is also used in Australia, the UK, and parts of Europe. But not America. Why? Infrastructure. The US built millions of homes in the post-war boom with hot water pipes to every major appliance. Renovating all of that? The cost would be astronomical. So Americans kept the system they had. New Zealanders built the system they needed. It's a perfect example of how innovation comes from constraint. Here's what all 5 of these appliances have in common. Each one solves a problem specific to New Zealand's geography, climate, or infrastructure. The heated towel rail exists because New Zealand is humid. The heat pump exists because New Zealand homes don't have central heating. The electric jug exists because Kiwis refuse to compromise on tea, and they have the electrical power to back it up. The dehumidifier exists because mold is a genuine health crisis. The washing machine with a built-in heater exists because energy is expensive and New Zealanders needed a more efficient solution. New Zealand developed appliances for the country they have, not the country they wish they had. America built universal solutions. One size fits all. New Zealand built hyper-specific solutions to local problems. And here's the beautiful part. Geographic isolation forced that creativity. When you're a small island nation at the bottom of the world, you can't just wait for someone else to solve your problems. You have to innovate. So here's what I want to know. If you're American, which of these 5 would you actually want in your home? And if you're a New Zealander watching this, what appliance did I miss that would completely confuse an American? Drop your answer in the comments. Bonus points if you can explain why Americans don't have it. Because I'm pretty sure there's at least one appliance in your country that the rest of the world thinks is absolutely insane. We just haven't made that video yet. And if you want more videos exposing everyday things that are weirdly different around the world, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one.